thank Dave Roberts and Pam Slater-Price for coming. As you know, Pam is the one that gave wings to this project. It was a concept, and I mentioned it to her. She said, write a grant, and I wrote a grant, which I'd never done before. And lo and behold, in a few weeks, I had $50,000 check. I thought, oh shit. Now what do? I had no idea. So, and I want to say, this is the one project that the whole community came together on. Didn't matter what your walk of life was or what you did. Everybody came together to make this happen, and it's an incredible educational tool and a wonderful work of art. So we're going to get her back. I do want to mention that the artists, Lynn Reeve and Rick Sparhawk, are here. And then Lynn also added the whale in the playground. So if you two want to stand and take a quick bow. They gave us 2.5 years of their lives. We're going to have trouble convincing them to do that again, but we'll start applying pressure. Tim Lucas is here. He's the chair of Jolla Shores Association and a great leader. And Jolla Cava, who is the representative for the La Jolla Community Planning Association, and we're very grateful to have them here. I want to introduce Vince Bartolotta. He is incredible and going to be having our back through this whole process. We're very fortunate to have him on board. And I want to introduce Bill LaRock. He and Michelle are the ones who are really making this happen, and we all owe them a great debt of gratitude. And lastly, I want to introduce or mention Mike Ruiz and Dan Denary from Park and Rec. They're back there behind the... And those guys have the patience of Job. They've been really terrific to work with. So Pam is going to say a few words while we're waiting on the mayor, and I'll turn the mic over to her. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you, Mary. Mary, by the way, is like a pit bull when she gets on a project. So if she starts coming your way with a smile, you better watch out. I wanted to just say a couple of things first about this project. This project is a wonderful project, and it's an area where this education is so critical for children. This is a place, obviously, I had a tough time parking, as probably you did as well, because there's so many kids here, and there's such a wonderful resource just right offshore. So the idea that we could do something that would be tactile and the kids could see, they could relate to being immediately offshore, and they could understand the underwater features of this area, as well as the beach and the sand and the surf and so forth, was very attractive to me as a former teacher. Also, there was at that time what I consider to be a tragedy. I'm a great animal lover, as probably most of you know, and this very friendly, beautiful, giant black sea bass, which had lived here for a long time, weighed 400 pounds, is in a protected zone, was shot by, frankly, in my opinion, a criminal guy down there with a dart gun, what do you call those, a spear gun, and killed. And so part of it was to dedicate this space to the memory of Blackie, as Blackie was known, and to have a likeness of Blackie. So when Mary came to see me with a request for some seed funding for this project, we of course asked a lot of questions, because this is county money, this is taxpayer money, not out of my own wallet. And the questions were all answered to our satisfaction. And the questions were all answered to our satisfaction, and we were given assurances that this firm was going to be very talented, that had lots of government contracts, and they were going to be able to do the job along with the other people that were going to be contracted. So what has happened, however, is a travesty. Only 5 years later, it's in disrepair, and in fact, it's a hazard. So what we're doing now is we're putting them on notice. Pennick and Sean Sons do a lot of government contracting. As far as I'm concerned, they're guilty now of fraud against the taxpayers. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce the man we've been waiting for, who is the mayor of San Diego, Mayor Bob Filner, who is going to shake a couple of hands and come right on up. Mayor Bob? You're on. You're on, bud.
I'm just looking, sorry, I mean, you can be in tears when you look at this, right? I mean, it's such a tragedy. It's something that the idea and the initial execution is so powerful and so beautiful and so important. And either, whatever the reason, incompetence or whatever, it turns out to be ugly. And we need to change it. We need to make sure this is fixed. There is no reason why this beautiful, artistic, meaningful work, which is something about our humanity, something about our universe, something about our world, something about who we are as human beings, and who we are as San Diegans and La Jollans. It's so meaningful, and I'm going to support whatever effort we have to. If I had been mayor at the time, we would have been more on the contractor. But whatever those who it's terrible that we have to sue. I mean, nobody wants to do that, and yet that's what we have to do it. And we're going to bring whatever resources that we as a city can bear to help on. And we're going to try. What did was it Kennedy? I'm looking to Bill LaRock and said we should jaw instead of fight. Well, all these guys still have stuff at the city level, right? So let's talk to them and try to convince them that they want to work with the city. They better work with us. And I know that I've talked to a lot of you. I've seen some of the stuff you've written. You want to help. I mean, it's not just us versus them. You're going to participate in any reasonable attempt to restructure the map, to redesign it, to make it permanent, to ensure its beauty. I mean, you're willing to take on a responsibility too. It's not just you're suing somebody and hopefully they do it. So we want to help that come together. We'll do whatever we can to do that. You got to unfortunately threaten some lawsuits in this day and age, but maybe that threat, along with the support from the mayor and the city, will get some things done. Otherwise, we have to go as far as we have to. But thank you so much. I mean, one last thing. What makes San Diego so great for me, and I'm sure the other office holders, Pam and David, and Kevin Beiser from the school board is here. Kevin, say hello. Thank you. That the community, people in the community are committed to their neighborhoods, their community, to the beauty, to the whole values, and people are willing to step up and step in, and they'll do. Yes, government is needed, but so is the civil society, so is the structure of community work, and all of us joining together. We need us all to work together, and it's your commitment to your community that makes it great, and that we in government should be just supporting that. We should be supporting that. You are the experts. You know how important this is. I have to admit, I had not seen it before Bill and others said I have to come. But it's incredible. And these little jewels that we have, whether it's the La Jolla post office that we should be preserved, or the map, this is what makes our community a community. And, this is what we should be spending our time on. So we're going to do that with you. Thank you so much.
All right, I now have the pleasure to introduce somebody I have come to know very well since the map was completed, and I'd like to introduce Walter Monk, my very special guy.
Know me only too well. Well, looking over the gentle waves offshore today, you'd never guess that there's a canyon with walls as steep as the ones at Black Beach. And the La Jolla Grand Canyon and the tributary, the Scripps Canyon, were discovered about 100 years ago as a complete surprise. And the way in which it was formed was and still to some extent remains a mystery. The Scripps professor Francis Shepard originally proposed that the canyon was formed like any other land canyon when sea level was 300 feet lower during the ice ages, just like any other canyon, and the sea level rose and covered it. But then they found that it was much deeper than expected, and it's now believed to be at least partly formed by occasional submarine avalanches, mudslides. The sand collects in the upper part of the canyon, and during an earthquake or a big storm, breaks off and flows down at remarkable speeds. The people at Monterey Canyon have measured a flow during one of these episodes on the bottom of Monterey Canyon of 30 miles an hour. If you're a diver, you wouldn't want to be on the bottom at that time. Well, there are two communities here in La Jolla who are very much concerned with the canyon. The first one is the diving community. They go out and look at the marine life and things that take place and enjoy it greatly. And there's a second community that's somewhat less obvious, and that's the surfing community. You may not be aware that the canyons have a very large effect on the quality of the breaking waves. One reason that Black's Beach is so famous is that the canyon refracts the waves coming in like a lens and forms a concentration of waves to either side of the canyon. And so they are as much concerned with that problem as any of us. Well, I will not speak long, but it was a wonderful idea that Pam Slater gave the support at some time to produce the map, to let the young children to learn something about the canyons and the underwater topography before they're able to go out and see for themselves. And with regard to the millions of visitors who come here, to give them a little bit of an idea of what's going on offshore. I'm an oceanographer, and I think the world starts off the beach and not on the beach. So I think. And I just say we are very deeply appreciative of Bill and Michelle for having had the energy to do something about this so that people may in future enjoy the map as they did 4 or 5 years ago. Thank you.
I'm Catherine Douglas, and before Mayor Filner gets all the way to his car, I'd like to thank him enormously for his support on this worthy cause. He's got a busy schedule, and we feel very honored that he has dedicated some time to it. I'd also like to thank Pam Slater Price and Dave Roberts for coming out today. It means a lot to us. Having to follow the eloquent Walter Monk and the mayor of San Diego is not an enviable position. But I would like for the press particularly, and those of you who weren't involved in the beginning of this task to have an idea of what went on. An extraordinarily widespread and cohesive community effort in time spent, expertise tapped, and funds raised made the map a reality in 2008. But the community's dream has morphed into the nightmare that it is today, robbing hundreds of thousands of the opportunity to learn more about the ocean environment and leaving us with an unsightly and unsafe zone of destruction. The map was designed to create a beautiful, educational, scientifically accurate illustration of the unique topography of the deepwater canyons, the location of the marine reserves, dive sites, points of interest, and to showcase the indigenous species. Increasingly deeper shades of crushed glass were selected for the surface to tell the depth story of the magnificent underwater canyons. Over 300 two-dimensional, handcrafted bronze embeds made by the two artists who were introduced earlier, including life-size replicas of the indigenous species, completed the picture. A contractor was sought who had the skill, experience, and expertise to select the proper materials and perform proper installation. It was repeatedly stressed that the map had to be safe, attractive, durable, stable, with low maintenance, and illustrate the depth story of the underwater canyons. T.B. Pennock was selected to perform the work using a patented process known as lithocrete, licensed to them by Shaw & Sons. They assured us that their expertise was unsurpassed in the industry and that lithocrete was the ideal, in fact, the perfect medium to create the surface of the map. T.B. Pennock seemed like the right partner to give given the number of contracts they had and have with the city of San Diego. The map was to be built on city land. The map was opened with over 500 people in attendance, including numerous city and county dignitaries, oceanographers and marine scientists, hundreds of members of our community, and visitors to Kellogg Park. We stand here today, a few short years later, looking at a project that has clearly failed in its construction. This is the second time that the city has had to close the map as a public safety hazard. We are sad and we are mad. We should not be looking at a pockmarked, crumbling surface littered with loose glass. The map is not safe, it is not attractive, durable, stable, or low maintenance. All things that Pennock said they would achieve by using the lithocrete process. The depth story has lost its impact because so much glass has been expelled from the surface. Now it is a dangerous eyesore. T.B. Pennock's refusal after repeated pleas to fix the map has left Friends of La Jolla Shores with no choice but to turn to the courts to seek justice on behalf of everyone who has loved and deserves to benefit from the map. So today, Mary Coakley Monk and Friends of La Jolla Shores have filed suit in San Diego Superior Court against T.B. Pennock & Sons and Shaw & Sons. Friends of La Jolla Shores has an extraordinary team of attorneys from Thor's Nest, Bartolotta, McGuire, Robbins, Geller, Rudman, and Dowd, and Michelle Larac representing them. Our sincere thanks go to each of them for their tireless dedication to this cause. Together we will fight, and together we will win. T.B. Pennock, fix the map.
All right. Thank you very much, Catherine. I'd like now to invite Dave Roberts if he'd like to say a few words, and then we'd like to have Pam and several of the others come up here so that we can have a press moment. Hi, Dave.
Well, I just want to tell you how honored I am to be here today. Legacy is extremely important to me, and a legacy changed a few months ago. It's actually 5.5 months ago when I took Pam Slater-Price's seat on the County Board of Supervisors, and I pledged at that time that I would continue fighting for the same things that Pam Slater-Price fought for 20 years. One of those things was the arts and really telling the history through the arts of our community. And while I don't get to represent this particular piece of La Jolla, I do get a component of La Jolla up on the northern part. And I am so honored to be now on the County Board of Supervisors. But one of the things and one of the reasons I ran for the Board of Supervisors, I'm the father of 5 adopted county foster children, and we actually come to this park fairly frequently. We were just here for a Boy Scout ceremony, and this park is so important. And when I heard from Bill and Michelle and others about how this originally beautiful piece of artwork was crumbling, I said, what a shame, and what can we do to help? And he said that there was a lawsuit that was going to be filed, and I said it's such a shame that it has to go to that extent to get something resolved. But this piece of art should not have deteriorated. I know about art. I was the mayor and a council member in Solana Beach. We do artwork like this up on North County, and this should not have happened. Any respectable business would fix this and make it well. And the only advice that I would give to T.B. Pennick is the last community in this world that I would want to pick a fight with is La Jolla Shores and the Friends of La Jolla Shore, because you are going to lose. So whatever I can do as a county supervisor, working with Mayor Filner and working with you all to get this corrected, we will do that. Thank you very much.
Dave, can I have you up here, and Pam and Phil and Vince, and how about Joe and Tim, since you're community leaders, and Rogers, you were so involved. Okay, and I think everybody has something to say to the press at this moment. Okay, John, come over here with the sign. Okay, is everybody ready? T.B. Pennick, fix the map. 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 All right. Thank you, guys. You're awesome. Thank you for coming, you guys.